Alex Perez, I wanted to continue our series here. Thank you so much for talking about the 457 deferred compensation plans. We were digging even in more specifically, talking about the drop payment. I wanted you to tell me a little bit more about some of the mistakes that you see. You help a lot of police officers here in San Antonio. What would you like to help new police officers avoid?
I think the biggest mistake officers make is they don't look at options that are available to them outside of the workplace. Officers always go to each other for advice. I think they feel safety is in numbers, but I think when they sit down with me and they really explore the options that are available to them, they're really amazed that there are other things that you can do. But historically, officers have always put their drop payment in their deferred comp or their 457 plan, and I think that's a big mistake. One size fits all does not work in the police environment. You've got to look at other options because, in my opinion, you are foregoing a guaranteed income, you're guaranteeing your principal, you're foregoing some considerable growth by minimizing your risk. There's so many different things that you're not looking into by just deciding to put your money in the deferred comp. And I think the biggest thing is service. Those are very good plans, but when you end your service as an employee of City of San Antonio, they're no longer going to contact you. And I think that's a tragedy because that's when you need the most help. And that's why I think people should contact me, work with me, because that's the most important decision you're making when it comes to your career is your money.
And so you're not saying that you're worried about people going out and buying the Winnebago with the drop payment. More so, these are really caring people, obviously with the profession that they've chosen. Sometimes, though, you've said that they spend it on their family, also foregoing their possible retirement. What do you mean?
Absolutely. We do see a lot of police officers that are caring people, and they do take care of their adult children or try to take care of their newly born grandchildren. But you only get one shot at retirement. You've got to let your kids be adults at some point, but take care of yourself. You dealt with the worst of the worst, and you rewarded yourself with this big drop payment. And in my opinion, you should reward yourself and your family and do all the things that you couldn't do during your working years.
Yeah. As you had that responsibility of taking care of the community, now we want you to have the responsibility of taking care of yourself. What also would you say are maybe some of the mistakes of the 457 itself? How do you feel about the funds? Can you talk about performance? And how much of the choice selection is up to the police officer themselves?
It's completely up to the police officer within the 457. The choices are becoming more and more limited. Over time, there's becoming more target funds available. Performance is typically in the lesser of the 50 percentile, and you don't want your funds to be performing low. You want them to be at their highest level. So exploring the options that are available in the marketplace and looking at the very dynamic and innovative funds that are available to them, I think is something they should do.
Alex, I think everybody right now in the studio who knows me knows you just hit on a landmine for me. You just said target date funds. I'm not always a biggest fan of target date funds. I understand they're simple to choose. You pick a date. It's supposed to go down in risk over time. Are you seeing a lot of officers choose it, and how's it working out for them?
They're choosing it and they're underperforming in the market, which is sad. But the biggest part of it is, Spike, that when the market does take a downturn, there's no one there to tell them to make a change. They're left to fend for themselves. And when you work with an advisor, that's our job, is to help them wade through the emotions of a volatile market. When do I make changes? How do I reallocate? That doesn't happen when you're in the 457 plan. It's up to you to make your own changes, and it's tough. A police officer is very astute with the penal code, how the law works.
Yes.
They're not astute.
And very specifics and about protecting, but they need to protect their assets as well. And it's very difficult to watch that on a month-to-month, week-to-week, day-to-day basis. That's why they can have somebody like you do that for them.
Absolutely.
Right. So taking a look inside the funds, you're not able to actually manage the funds inside the 457, the deferred comp for them. So how can you give the advice?
Very easy. The tools that I have available at my fingertips allow me to look at the funds that are inside the 457, analyze them, look at what
see what the performance is, what's going on.
The risk tolerance. Everybody has a risk number. How adverse are they to risk. Anytime there's a 457 plan, I actually give it to my team. They look at the research and tell me how the funds are performing, and I help my clients pick the funds that are appropriate for them.
If you'd like to sit down for an appointment to take a look at your own 457 and see how much risk you're taking, is it appropriate for you? Have you chosen target date funds? What's most effective for you and your family? All you've got to do is click on the link below or call the phone number, set up your own appointment.